all 5 professional schools need student representation advocating for them. And also, I feel that each student needs to be assigned one advisor. I think that case history is really important. I know that for SOM, we have one advisor, so he deals with all of us, and it's important because he knows what classes we should be taking, and students really should be assigned just to one advisor. Every time they go to advising, they shouldn't meet with somebody else. Okay?
All right. Peter? All right. I'll say quickly, I think that there are major problems in advising in Harper. I am a student in Harper now, as well as an adjunct in the School of Management. There are major problems in Harper advising as well as in several of the professional schools. SOM happens to be one of the schools where advising works pretty well right now. I do have a specific plan on how to improve Harper advising. A lot of it has to do with increased staff, and as Hillary noted, it would be helpful if every student were assigned one specific advisor, so that if they go on a yearly basis, for example, they're not dealing with a different person each time. And I think my time is about up, but I'll suggest that everyone read this week's Pipe Dream if they want to know other disparities between those.
We still have a minute.
Oh, okay.
You have a minute. It's a 2 minute. It was a 2-minute response.
All right, I'll just finish up by saying this is not my own view, but a direct quote from Pipe Dream. They said that in interviewing both of us, they were crushed to find out that Hillary was not aware of the problem with Harper advising. And in receiving their endorsement, I did discuss with them the problems in Harper advising, and apparently they were impressed with my answers.
Hillary, do you have a response?
I would just like to say that I am an SOM student, so I was not aware of the advising, but I did say that I would address every concern that they had if I was elected.
Okay.
I think a big part of my platform, which I've stressed over and over, is that I would like to represent a wider range of students' academic concerns. I think in recent years, students in the 5 professional schools, in some ways they've been well represented, in other ways they haven't. It's not because any individual academic VP has messed up, rather it's the inherent flaw in asking one person to be the academic representative for students in 6 different colleges and the varied academic concerns that go along with that. As a student in both Harper and an adjunct in SOM, I feel I'm well versed in understanding the varied academic concerns of students in multiple schools and would be able to advocate accordingly.
Thank you. Our next question is to both candidates and is 1 minute in response. What do you think you will do to help improve students' overall academic experience in Binghamton? And we'll start with Hillary.
I think that the most important thing is creating better liaisons between the SA Academic Vice President and the Community and Hall Academic Vice Presidents. I think that this allows the SA AVP to check up on the community and halls and give them advice and guidelines and to help solve any issues that may arise, and then advocate for anything that they bring up.
Okay.
Peter?
It's kind of a general question, but I'll try to keep it as narrow as possible. I absolutely agree with what Hillary said about working with the community academic VPs and hall academic representatives, because those are the people that deal with students on a most direct basis, the widest number of students, so that an academic VP can find out what academic policies and issues are affecting the widest range of students and advocate for the issues that are affecting students the most. But it's also about more than that. One central part of my platform has to do with the pass-fail option. A lot of people don't even realize this, but right now there is a growing number of professors who have instituted this policy in their courses where if you take their course pass-fail, they say you'll need a C or a C+ or higher in some cases in order to get pass credit having taken that course pass-fail. I think it's a terrible policy and we got to change it for a huge number of reasons. Time?
You've got 30 seconds.
All right. I think it's a terrible policy for a number of reasons. Firstly, it's an inherent contradiction to what pass-fail actually means. If you take a course for a letter grade, D is passing. If you take a pass-fail, D equivalent should be passing. Moreover, though, if you think about who's actually taking those courses, a pass-fail course it doesn't count toward your major. It doesn't count toward a gen ed, so that ends up being seniors who have finished all their requirements, but they're taking a course just because they're interested in the subject matter to learn about it. Now, I think that's something the university ought to be encouraging, not trying to deter or punish students for taking courses just because they want to learn about the subject matter.
Thank you. Hillary, do you have a response?
No.
Okay.
And this is for both of you, and you'll have a 2-minute response. Right now there is an issue with the Latin American, Caribbean American studies. How do you feel about those issues
that have been brought up?
Peter?
Sure. I think it's a major issue. I spoke about that to the Caribbean Student Association last Friday, and I think, this year we've seen the administration do something that they've had a tendency to do historically. They make these decisions secretly in back rooms somewhere privately, and then they bring it to students after the decision has been made and finalized. As a result of that, it's something unfortunate. I don't think we're going to be able to reverse the changes that were made this year. I'd love to be able to tell you we could, but you guys deserve to know the truth, and I don't think we're going to be able to move LACUS back to where they were and get them back to exactly the situation they were before the university minimized it. What I would like to do is restore the department secretary, restore the department chairperson as a way to alleviate some of the concerns that have been raised by the minimization of this department if we can't get it back to its full status of where it was previously.
Okay, thank you. And Hillary?
I do not have a response.
All right, thank you. What kind of academic programs do you plan to instill, and academic outreach programs to students and to student groups do you plan to instill in the coming semester and year if you were elected as Vice President of Academic Affairs? And we'll start with Hillary.
I plan to continue the College Bowl that Matt Landau just had. I think that was a great success. Anything else that I plan to do is in my platform, and really, I think that it's up to what the students want, and that's okay. Peter?
Right. I think College Bowl is definitely a huge part of what the Academic VP does. In general, the Academic VP has very little influence over programming, but College Bowl is the one program that the Academic VP runs annually. I've also spoken with both of the two candidates for Vice President for Programming about the possibility of collaborating on something where if SAPB brings in speakers often, and if they were able to bring someone of an academic nature who could speak about, politics or anything which could be considered academic in nature, I would work with them, co-sponsor this program, and have the office of the VPP and the academic VP work together on making that program as strong as it could be if it had an academic concern to it.
Okay. Thank you. A question earlier in the debate that was referred to by both candidates was you made points about the other candidates' experience. Would you like to give a brief list of your own past experience with student government and with the essay as a whole, if you feel you left anything out for the 30 seconds, let's say, each, starting with Hillary?
My